We're sat here talking about The Force Unleashed 3 and about Starkiller being canon because this is a subject which is important to us. A lot of us want to see Galen Marek appear in a third game or to have him appear in an upcoming project like Star Wars Rebels. But The Force Unleashed is not looking likely to be among the things which Disney are going to be using in future canon. We've seen a lot of elements from the Legends continuity making it into the Rebels show, but Galen Marek's story is likely to be forever confined to Legends. But remember when Ahsoka Tano said,
"There's always a bit of truth in Legends."
I've been mulling this subject over in my head, and in many ways Star Wars Rebels is a retelling of the Starkiller myth, with a lot of the central themes and plot points from Rebels being lifted from or adapted from the core elements of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. This video will contain spoilers for both the Force Unleashed games and the last few seasons of Rebels, so if you've not experienced those things and if you're spoiler-averse, then please stop watching. So, let's start with the story. The first Force Unleashed game is about a young, Force-sensitive orphan who comes under the tutelage of a Jedi Master and Clone Wars general, one who clashes with Darth Vader and whose actions ultimately form the very foundation of the Rebel Alliance. The finale of the Force Unleashed series sees the various Rebel cells unite under the banner of the Malek family, adopting the Malek crest as their de facto logo in honor of Starkiller's sacrifice.
A symbol of hope.
The story of Rebels so far has been about a young Force-sensitive orphan who comes under the tutelage of a Jedi Master and Clone Wars general, one who clashes with Darth Vader and whose actions ultimately lead to the very foundations of the Rebel Alliance. Now we know that Rebels will eventually dovetail into Rogue One, and it's becoming clear that the show will likely culminate in the various Rebel cells uniting under a single banner. The smart money is on the symbol of Sabine Wren's Starbird. Maybe in honor of a valiant sacrifice, I don't know. But let's drill into that a little bit deeper. Galen Marek was originally apprenticed to Darth Vader and was schooled in the dark side of the Force. Only when meeting Master Rahm Kota did Starkiller start to waver from the dark side and eventually come over to the light. Starkiller continued to balance on that line between light and dark, using powers and abilities from both sides of the Force. Morally, he rode that line too, giving into anger, struggling to remain in the light. But Ezra Bridger began his Jedi training underneath the soon-to-be Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus. But after meeting Darth Maul, Ezra came to see the power of the dark side and wavered from the light. Plagued with anger, like Starkiller, Ezra rode the line between light and dark, utilizing the powers of both sides of the Force and also often giving in to his anger. Where Starkiller was trained in the ways of the Jedi by the blind, drunk Clone Wars veteran Rahm Kota, Ezra was trained by the blind, drunk Clone Wars veteran Kanan Jarrus. Both characters visually look very similar, and they're both clearly being inspired by the blind samurai Zatoichi. But in an interview with Collider, Freddie Prinze Jr. said,
"If Kota was your introduction to that type of Jedi, right on, that's cool, because he was also an inspiration from Zatoichi. It's all connected, and I don't care how you get there, just so long as you get there."
And once you start really looking into it, small details start to emerge which at first seem like coincidence, but the more you see them, the less it seems that way. The Inquisitor's iconic lightsaber design from Rebels is an abandoned piece of concept artwork from The Force Unleashed. Dave Filoni wanted something which looked cool, visually distinct, but still felt like Star Wars. Starkiller's reverse grip is even poached by Ahsoka Tano, even going so far as to have her gripping two lightsabers at once. Now, during the development of The Force Unleashed, it was decided that Starkiller would hold his lightsabers in a reverse grip so that players could actually see the lightsabers, as in previous games the blade is always obscured by the character's body. So it had a function, but also I guess they found out that it looked wicked cool, and it was so cool that they just nicked it for Rebels. Here's another one. In The Force Unleashed, Galen Marek is shipped from mission to mission by his trusty pilot Juno Eclipse. Juno being the queen of the gods in Roman mythology. A warlike goddess, Juno is associated with protection and with femininity. And you know that the Roman gods all have Greek equivalents, right? Do you want to guess what the Greek equivalent to Juno is? It's Hera. In Rebels, the team's pilot is Hera Syndulla. Is that a coincidence? Am I looking too far into this? Other straws that we can grab at whilst we're here are two very similar looking droids, two female Force-sensitive Togruta, holocrons, weird prototype troopers. There's probably even more things that I've missed. For those of you who've been expecting to see Starkiller turn up in Rebels, even though the timeline matches up almost perfectly, Disney have done such a good job of mining from the Force Unleashed and dismantling enough of those important elements, it's become unnecessary to include Galen Marek, Rahm Kota, Juno Eclipse, or any other element from the Force Unleashed. When you consider that Sam Witwer has been voicing Darth Maul since the Clone Wars, it might be a bit weird to have two characters on screen being voiced by the same guy. Now, what do you reckon? Can you think of any other similarities that I might have missed? Would you still want to see Starkiller appear in the Rebels show? Or is it good enough as it is? For more Star Wars gaming videos, please subscribe to The Game Show.